You may have seen some online footage of action cameras that have some crazy looking angles to them, and you're probably wondering, I was in the beginning, is how on earth did they manage to capture that kind of footage? Was probably with one of these. This is the Insta360 1X2. Now the 1X2 is a 360 degree action camera. So that's how they were probably able to get that kind of footage. It has a camera at the front and the rear of it, and with them combined using software, it can then give you a 360 degree view of everything, which is very handy for just capturing wherever you want. So it does have flow state stabilization with it, so it's very steady. You got selfie sticks that can also be invisible, so you don't even see them in the footage. So you might have seen that too as well, where someone looks like they could be holding something, but you can't even see the selfie stick. It was probably one of these. In the box, you'll find a pouch, a cleaning cloth, some stickers, some paperwork, and a Type A to Type C cable. The 1X2 has a 150 gram weight, and you can see compared to a GoPro Hero 9 here, it is a very different size. So it's a little bit longer but thinner, and weight-wise they are very similar. And we've got the little screen on the front of the GoPro where there's a little screen on the back of it here too. So both of those cameras combined give us that 5.7K 360 degree resolution. So that is why it is different and, well, really good compared to, say, a GoPro. That's only looking straight ahead with an ultra-wide camera, and these, of course, have two ultra-wide cameras built into them. So on the front here, we do have a button there to stop our recording. There's also voice commands you can use with it, status LED, and it's a little touch screen, this one. I'll get onto that soon. But here you'll see we've got these little covers. Now they have gaskets around them, of course, to retain that IPX8 water resistance with it. So down to 10 meters. And that's our Type-C port behind that. And here you'll find the battery compartment. Well, the battery is actually part of it when you pull it right out. There's the gasket around it. And then just inside is where you'll find our micro SD card slot right there. So build quality is excellent. And you just press these in, you hear it clipping sound. And there's a little, you can see a little indicator there that if it's not clipped in properly, it'll show yellow there because it's important. If it isn't, then of course it won't be waterproof, and you don't want to jump into a swimming pool or into a river or something without it properly clipped in. So very rugged design, and the rubber around the outside means it does have a bit of shock proofing to it. And then we have your standard mount there, so you can put this on a tripod or onto the different various holders for an action camera such as this. Now, due to the design of it, these cameras sticking out like that and then the lenses are very susceptible to being scratched, because if you place this down on a table, it's going to be the lens right in the middle where it's going to be sitting on top of that table. So they do sell this, which is a lens cap that is optional for it, and it's basically just a TPU cover. Now that simply goes over the top, really good fit to it, and then you're not going to have that problem at all of this being damaged. You could, of course, use the pouch that they do include in the box, but this does offer a different level of protection and a little bit more specifically for those lenses, which you really do want to protect from scratches. So you can record any angle you want because it's a 360 degree camera, which is very convenient to be able to just edit this later on in post. So you can just hit record whenever you want. You don't need to worry about holding it level either. There's no problems with that because it's using a gimbal in there and a gyro. So you can see that I can now just select any scene that I want to show you here. And I do have it mounted on the selfie stick, which is invisible, and I can even hold it right up and away from me now as I walk around. You can get some very interesting perspectives here. Now the audio you are listening to is the built-in microphones that it does have. Where I am filming here is just on the coast of Denia. It's a place called Las Rotas. And I often film here with my e-bike reviews, and I'm currently actually just testing out an e-scooter, as you can see. Now I can jump, and the stability, not an issue at all for it, thanks to the gyro and all the tech it's got in there. I can show you anything I want here. This is very convenient. So let's have a look now at some other scenarios where you could use the Insta1 X2 here. So recapping here, this is a very versatile action camera. Certainly if you want to get those angles that you just cannot with other action cameras, for example, like a GoPro, which I do also own, then you're stuck with just, of course, the same wide field of view. But with this camera here, you can choose with the software to scale around and look at whatever point you want that when you're recording. And that means it's very convenient that you can just simply hit record on this and get that kind of footage that you want. And you could have missed out on something with other action cameras. It could happen to the side or behind you, imagine, that this will be able to capture. Now the audio quality from the full microphones, I did find at times wasn't that good. That's a common trait and a con of a lot of action cameras. Even, for example, my GoPro, I don't particularly like the audio quality on it. And I do see with this one here with the footage, even though it's a 5.7K resolution, I have noticed that when you, of course, grab a segment that you want and you want to be pointing at a certain angle and in that direction, that when you crop in and you take a look at that footage, there's a lot of noise to it and it's just lacking in resolution a little there. So I would like to see future models with, if possible, a much higher resolution. That way we could export a certain section of it at a higher visual quality, like something like 4K would be better, a bit sharper, and they could, I hope, improve on that quality there. Now the accessories you can get with it, they sent me out a few of them that I haven't shown you all of them, but the selfie stick, for example, this one, really good, high quality, telescopic one that you can just pull out in an instant. So that's great, you can hold that above you, and that's how I managed to get some of these shots that I showed you here with my sample footage. So it is definitely a versatile action cam, very good build quality to it. And so far in my time testing it out, which has been now a couple of weeks getting some of the footage, it hasn't frozen up on me once, which is really handy because my GoPro can't say the same about that. The GoPro Hero 9, and I've also heard the Hero 10 does the same thing, that they often freeze up when you need them the most. This hasn't. So thank you so much for watching my video here on the Insta360 1X2.